This video is specifically for plumbing business owners that need help with dispatch. For example, is your dispatcher not converting as many calls as you'd like? There's a difference between an incoming lead and a scheduled appointment. And then another thing is who's doing it after hours when you're not at the shop, or after 5 p.m. Today, I would love to introduce all the plumbing business owners to Sarah Delnay from a company by the name of PlumbLine Answering Services. And the reason that we're having her on here today is because I trust her, and I'm going to tell you why. So her and her husband own an answering services specifically for plumbing business owners, and they have history with that. Kind of like I was a plumber for 15 years prior to owning strictly Plumbers Marketing. She was born out of the plumbing industry as well. So let me introduce you guys to Miss Sarah. And can you please tell us about your about your plumbing answering service? And could you tell, how did your PlumbLine start? And you guys did own a plumbing company in the past, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Tony. So yeah, my husband and I own a plumbing company in the past. We recently just exited that. But what we found when we owned our plumbing company is one of the biggest pain points that we actually had was converting calls, especially, after hours. Because at the time, we had been using different answering services and they weren't booking our jobs. So we're paying for these leads, which, as you know, right, they're not cheap. So we're paying for these leads, and then these answering services are answering for us, and we're hearing them not convert. So like I always like to say, the most expensive lead is one that doesn't convert. So in owning our plumbing business, we found, hey, there has to be a better solution for plumbing companies. A solution that is really aimed at the trades, and one that gives the company an incentive to actually book the call, right? Because what we were hearing is there was no incentive for these answering services to book for the plumbing companies.
I see. So you went through the struggle of owning the plumbing company, dealing with answering services, and finding the hardships of like what are those holes in the system that you were able to make better, right? So tell us
Absolutely.
about your company. If you're answering the phone calls for, well, tell us, about how many plumbers do you work with, and what are your hours of operations?
Yeah. Yep. So we are currently working with over 100 plumbing companies. PlumbLine is open 24/7, 365. So we have some companies that use us for, all their phone calls. We have some companies that use us for overflow, or when they're CSRs on lunch, overflow after hours, weekends. So really, whenever you need us, we always have staff ready and waiting to answer the phone for you. So like I said, 24/7, 365, holidays, we're always ready.
Awesome. Awesome. And do you guys integrate with the scheduling software, or do you book within like Service Titan, House Call Pro, Field Edge, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So what we do is we'll book into any of those softwares for you. So what we found when we owned our plumbing company is there's a lot of answering services out there that will take messages, right? But really, what good does that do? Because by the time someone gets back to them, they've already moved on to another company, right? So that was one thing when we were building PlumbLine is, hey, we have to be able to capture these leads right away and to be able to book them into the scheduling software, because that's where the value actually is for our clients, right? Is actually capturing those jobs and so that they can go out and convert them and serve their clients.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So just here, I'm sure all the plumbers want to know, how do you guys charge? Is it per minute? Is it per booked call? I
Yeah.
know your model, but I'm asking you the questions that I think all the plumbing business owners really want to know right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So people always, cost is an obvious question. So what we found when we owned our plumbing business is we were using these answering services that were pay per minute. And when you listen to those calls, actually what you're doing is you're paying them to put your client on hold, which is exactly what was happening, because they put them on hold, your bill goes up, and you find no value in that, right? Because they're not booking, they're putting your customers on hold. So we wanted to build PlumbLine. We said we want there to be value with the company. With every dollar they spend, they should be getting a return on, right? So we are a pay per booked call company. which means if we don't book it, you don't pay for that. We're never going to put your customers on hold. We want you to have value in every dollar that you spend with us. So that is our model. It's a pay per booked call.
That is amazing. I'm sure all the guys want to know. So what does it cost for a booked call?
Yep. So the booked call, we have a flat rate tiered system. So every week, what we do is we send you a call log, and we'll have all the calls that we booked for you during the course of the week, right? So you can look that over. You say, hey, yep, this call log looks good. And it's a flat rate tiered system, right? So if during the course of the week, we book between 1 and 15 calls for you, it's $40 per booked call. If we book between 16 and 30, it's 35 per booked call. And if we book 31 plus, it's $30 per booked call. And that's just billed on a weekly basis.
Weekly. Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. That gives some more clarity. Just curious, what does your staff look like? Is it outsourced? Do you have in-house? How many staff members do you have these days?
Yeah, we currently have around 50 staff members. They're all in the United States, most in the Midwest. We have some in Texas, kind of where you're at. But they are all in the United States. We don't do any outsourcing.
That's really, really good to hear. So if any plumbing business owners really like the way this sounds and they need your help, and because they compare, plumbing business owners will compare like the cost of somebody working at your company, maybe full-time or part-time, right? And sometimes it's somebody working from home or at your shop, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things to consider when dedicating a budget towards an answering service, right? A CSR, a dispatcher. So if the plumbing business owners have more questions, and maybe want to consider hiring you for your service, for the answering service, what's the best way to get a hold of your company?
Yeah, the best way would just be to go to our website, which is plumlineanswers.org. And then you can just select Let's Chat. It's going to have you fill out some information about yourself, your company, your phone number, email, that type of thing. And it's going to bring you to a calendar link. And you're just going to select a time that best works for you. And one of our team members will give you a call, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have, about anything. So that's the best way to reach us.
Awesome. So you heard it here, plumbing business owners. Go hire Sarah and her team. They're ready to answer your calls and book appointments for you and help you convert more leads into scheduled appointments. And then it's the plumber's job to turn that scheduled appointment into an invoice and hopefully a bigger one, right? So you guys get a hold of Sarah Delnay, the founder of PlumbLine Answering Services, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.